Right, so hi everyone. So as I said in the description, it's a little bit of a change of plan for today. So it's probably not going to be as long as what I was originally expecting this video. But it's raining quite a bit outside, so my phone is absolutely useless outside in the rain. So I thought we'll have a little wander around the tropical house and do a bit of a bird spotting day today. I know we've got a lot of fans of the birds out there, especially the parrots and things. So we'll have a look to see what we can find. As I said, birds aren't necessarily my speciality, so I might not be able to answer all your questions. I will try, however. But if I can't answer, what I'll do is I'll get back to you in the comments below. And if you want to have a chat about anything else while we're in here, you're more than welcome to. So if you've got a question about anything else in the park, or what we do, or anything like that, just let me know, and we'll have a chat. Right, so the bird that I can always count on at the moment down here is our female Vietnamese pheasant. I don't want to disturb her too much, but I'll see if I can get a little shot of her for you. So you can't see her very well, but that is our female Vietnamese pheasant. So she has made a nice little nest there, so she is nesting there, looking after those eggs. She's been there for the last few weeks, so I would have thought she's probably only got maybe at the most a week or so left, and then hopefully those will hatch out. Now when people ask what's our rarest animal in the park, so it's actually these guys here. So that's the female, so she's brown coloration. We're going to go find the male in a minute. I did spot him earlier up that way, so we'll have a look at him. And they are actually critically endangered, although no one's actually seen any in the wild since year 2000. So 20 years since anyone's seen a wild one. So there's a good chance, well, most experts think that they are extinct in the wild, which is a real shame, but we'd like to hopefully one day get involved with a release project for those. So I know Paynton Zoo are working with a charity out in Vietnam, that's where they're from, and hopefully we can get involved with something like that as well. Right, so the big blue pigeon thing, so that is Gok, he's called Gok, and that is our common crown pigeon. So the carp in our pond, in the tropical house they don't breed. In the top lake they may well breed a little bit, but we do have a few cormorants and things around here that do come round during that sort of breeding season, so I don't think they're very successful. Thank you very much, Pauline, for that. Morning, Debbie. Right. Flaxseed. I would have thought that a few of the, certainly the finches, sparrows, canaries, things like that would eat the flax seeds. I don't think we use flax seeds as a specific dietary addition ourselves, but I think it's in the parakeet mix. I was down there, I was looking for the female pheasant. I'll go find the male for you. Thank you very much, Lindsay. Hi, Amanda. Yeah, so it's what I'll do on the way when I'm finished in here. I'll have a look to see outside whether it's still raining. If it is, we can have a little wander around. But I said at the moment, with how much is raining outside, my phone just really doesn't do all that well. So Gok is separated off at the moment because he injured his wing. So we'll see if we can see him through the door. Hi, Lynn. Oh, thank you very much, Katie. Hope you're doing well. So we have been working for quite a while to bring in a partner for Gok from Singapore, because the crown pigeon that we've got, that species isn't all that often kept in Europe. So we were working on that, but that's been on hold for a little while. No, so this afternoon I will be doing some filming, but that's not going to come out till tomorrow. So I'll be doing my final little bits of filming for the reptile talk that's happening tomorrow. Right, so while I'm here, I'm just going to zoom in on these guys. So we've got two different types of bird up here. So the brown one that you just saw flapping about a little bit There's two there, right in the middle of the screen. So those are our speckled. Mouse birds. So they are from sort of South Africa and that sort of region of Africa. And the reason why they're called mouse birds is they actually spend a lot of their time on the ground and make little like mouse runs through the forest and through the leaves there. So they actually run around a little bit like mice do, and that's where they get their name from. So those are seed feeders. So thank you very much, Mandy, Sue, Naomi and Tim. Really appreciate that. Hi Heather and Jackie. Oh, I have to make sure I'm about for when those Skittles arrive. Otherwise the keeper will take them all. So the other birds which we've got up here, so they're the noisy ones. Thank you, Naomi. The ones that always dive bomb at you. That's the rainbow lorikeets. So they are an Australian species. I've actually been lucky enough. Oh, they're all gone. I've been lucky enough to see these in the wild. Well, I say the wild, they were in the middle of the town in Adelaide. So I mean, they're everywhere over there. They really are. Thank you, Lynn and Belinda. So they feed on nectar, plant pollen, fruits, things like that. So we've got part of their diet here. So there's a little bit left from this morning. So their nectar's all gone. And there's a little bit of banana and orange there. So the orange is quite a nice supplement for them. It keeps them nice and healthy. So the central cages, they used to be for primates, and they need to come down really, but now we do still use them now and again for if we need to quarantine birds or anything needs separating off for a little while or something like that. Especially when we have a new bird come in, it's quite handy that it can go in this sort of little cage. The other ones can see them, and then they can sort of get slowly introduced. But it's not something that we use all that much anymore, to be honest. Hi Harley and Theo. Thanks Belinda. Right, where's this pheasant? I saw him earlier. So I think he's around here somewhere. Hi Amelia. Anyone sees the pheasants, give me a shout. I did see him around here earlier. Maybe I've walked past him. So we've got a few different types of fish in here as well. We've got goldfish up in the top pond, and then we've got some carp down in the bottom pond. Thank you very much, Annie. Hi Ava, and hi Harry. Right, so here's another very interesting bird for you. So let's see if I can get a better shot of his colour. So this is our Eclectus parrot. So we've only got the one here. That's him there. So we've got a male, so he's that nice green colour. And when the first European ornithologists came to the Solomon Islands and found these guys, so they also found them from Papua New Guinea and Australia, they actually thought that the males and females were two different species. So the female is a nice red colour with purple shoulders and chest, and she's got a completely black beak as well. So they look completely different. They are gorgeous birds. So we haven't got any ringnecks either here or in the rest of the park. So again, we've got another one of our feeding stations over here. I think they're probably going to be getting some more food soon, because once again all of the nectar is gone. So this is why we always have so much nectar on our Amazon wish list. You can imagine if we had 2 or 3 of these bowls and they're already finished from this morning, we do get through an awful lot of that. Hi Shay and Lily. Yeah, Lily as well, that's a very good question. So at the moment we haven't got any butterflies here. So we're going to have to wait and see what time, but not what time, when we're able to reopen. So if we can't open till right at the end of the year, we probably won't be getting any butterflies back in, but we're hopeful that we're going to be opening around the summertime again. So if it is around that time, then we may well be able to get some butterflies in. So we don't start the season with our own butterflies, we actually buy some in from another company, and then we breed those. And that's why we don't have any during the winter, because during the winter it's just too expensive for us to be able to keep breeding them. So what we do is we wait for the last ones to pass away, because they don't have a very long life. And then once we haven't got any butterflies left in there, then we turn off the heating. So we've actually got one canary in here. And there we got a speckled pigeon up there as well. Well, last time I let the birds come to me, we all saw what happened on that. I'm sure no one wants to watch me sitting here quietly. Oh, thank you very much, Lindsay. How many pots of nectar? I think during a day we probably get through maybe 3 litres or thereabouts, maybe more than that, maybe even 2 litres. So one of those big pots that we get probably lasts us a couple of days, because we mix it with water, so they don't last all that long, but the lorikeets are worth it, we think. Let's have another wander to see if we can find that pheasant. I said when I first came in, he was just over here. He doesn't usually come too far down this way at the moment because of disturbing his girlfriend. So there's some more of our goldfish there. So yeah, so the lorikeets which we've got here are rainbow lorikeets. So they're all down the bottom end at the moment. If you have a look back at some of a post a few days ago, we actually showed some pictures of some of the babies. So they're breeding, they're all coming out of the nest now. So the hand feeding of the lorikeets is something that we had planned for this year. So we have been doing the training for those. I have just spotted the pheasant, so I'll talk about him in just a second. But at the moment, what we're trying to limit is having birds flying from one keeper to another, especially because we do need to use other keepers from other sections to do that training. So what we don't want to do is, let's say if there was a problem with coronavirus here with one of our keepers who might not know, we don't want a bird landing on their hand and then landing on someone else's hand and spreading that way. So we just stopped that for a little while at the moment, just as a precaution. I don't think it would actually cause a problem, but it's just not worth taking that chance for the sake of doing some training with them. So we'll pick that back up again as soon as this is all over. Right, so here we have our male Edwards pheasant. So as I said, these are critically endangered, although no wild ones have been seen since the year 2000, so they are from Vietnam. So we work with the World Land Trust and the project which we support for them. So when you go up to where the giraffes are, there's a silent aviary there, which is an aviary with some pictures of birds that have gone extinct in the last 100 years. And if we put money into the collection pot there, what we do is all that money goes to the World Land Trust. And one of the projects which they work with actually helps these guys, as well as moon bears, and just plenty of other species that live in the rainforest there. Thank you very much, Chris. So they are rainforest species, and part of the reason why they are so endangered is more so deforestation, a little bit from hunting as well, but they haven't been hunted to death. It's more the fact that their habitat is no longer there, or no longer as nice as it should be, and a lot of that has come from the Vietnamese War. So again, I've been to Vietnam as well, and I have seen some of the national parks there. Now, having been to a lot of rainforests around the world, I know that when you're in the rainforest, it is noisy. It's a lot more noisy than it is here, but when we went to Vietnam, we were in the rainforest, even at night, and you could hardly hear anything at all. They're not as diverse in terms of their life as many other countries. And a lot of that is from things like Agent Orange, so defoliants which were dropped onto the rainforest and the agricultural land there. So that war really did a lot of damage. I think they're an absolutely beautiful bird. So it's not coming up as nicely on the camera, but in real life they've got a nice sort of blue sheen to them. So I said hopefully we got some babies on the way of those. Thank you very much, Sandra, really appreciate that. So we wish that we could have plenty of you over here, and we can't wait to have you back. There's that Eclectus again. So we've got the Solomon Island Eclectus here, which is the largest one. You're not going to turn around for us? And like I said, they do also, you get them in northern parts of Australia, Papua New Guinea, those sorts of areas. Well, I'm going to go see, I'm just going to poke my head through the door to see if we can see Gok. Like I said, he's separated off at the moment because he has hurt his wing. I don't want to freak him out too much. Alright, we'll just look round the corner at him. So he's just in here so he can't do too much damage by flying around. Thank you very much, Sarah and Heidi. No, so the pheasants, we've bred them for the last few years. So we've got, in our outside aviary, we've actually got 2 males in there that were bred here. And we have moved some on to some other zoos as well. But we are hoping that this project which Paignton Zoo are working with gets off the ground so that we can help with the release project as well. That'd be a really nice thing to get involved with. So if you haven't seen, we're doing the League of Extraordinary Cuteness at the moment, and Gok actually was voted out of the small sort of sample, the 11th cutest animal in the park. I actually had no idea he was quite as popular as he is. So he put up a valiant fight against Pickle, but he did lose by about, so I think he had 30% of the votes, which is still very impressive because there was over 2,000 people voted in that round. So yeah, he's very, very popular. I think he needs a little bit more attention. Thank you very much, Sid. Thanks, Debbie. But yeah, he did really well. So today we've got, I know, quite a controversial choice of photos by myself for the tigers and jaguars. That's causing some debate. And then we've got, what have we got later? Meerkats and lemurs. That's going to be an interesting one. Thank you very much, Pam. No, I mean, we appreciate every single thing that you're doing for us. We really do. So no, it's the least we can do is do these streams for you. So we're happy to keep doing them. Like I always say, as long as you keep watching them, I'll keep doing them. Hashtag Gok was robbed. I'm enjoying your hashtags at the moment. I'm loving those. How did he hurt his wing? I think it was a little standoff between him and the pheasant. And as he flew off, I think he hit his wing on one of the fences here. So it's just a little accident there. Right, we've got some little finches in here as well. I haven't seen one of the Java sparrows actually. I was hoping to see one of those for you. So I'm going to keep having a little bit of a wander around to see if I can find one of those Java sparrows. They're beautiful little birds. But we've only got, I think, 4 or 5 in here. So a little bit more difficult to see. And also our canary. I haven't seen the canary. Oh, there's a Java sparrow. I'm going to try and sneak up on it. So kids, when you're here, don't cross over the fences like I'm doing. So thank you very much, Helen and Dave. Really appreciate that. Right. Thank you, Nicola. So that guy over there, sorry, it's a really bad picture. I'll see if I can get a bit closer. That's a Java sparrow, and then there's a speckled mousebird above him. The Java sparrow is an Indonesian species, so mainly from Java and Bali, as the name would suggest. So they are more sort of seed feeders, as are the speckled mousebirds above him. Gorgeous little beds. So keep an eye out for those when you do come to the park. Oh, and there's some zebra finches as well. Again, they're Australian as well. So that is, so that's a sort of hybridized finch over there. So that's more of a pet trade one. So we have had a few of these donated, and I have just seen the canary as well. So let me just sneak around the corner, see if we can find him. Don't fly off. Right, that's our canary there, right in the middle. So that's another species from Gran Canaria. And again, that's a sort of pet trade variety that you see there. They do exist in the wild, but they're not that sort of colour. I think they're more of a brown colour in the wild. But when you see canaries that are this sort of colour, or the little pinky ones and red, those are types which you won't find in the wild. So we've got all of our little finches and things here at the same time. I always thought that Gok didn't like anyone, but from the stories everyone's been telling about him, it turns out he does like some people. Thanks, Jess. I think we've seen pretty much all of our birds now. The only thing which we're missing still is quail. So we've got a couple of Chinese quail in here. I did want to try and show you everyone, so I will have another little wander around to see if we can find those quail for you. They're usually around here. So yeah, so most of our birds breed in the spring, but not all of them breed. So the mouse birds have been breeding here for quite a few years now. I think probably about 9 or 10 years they've been breeding with us. The rainbow lorikeets, they breed every year. The pheasants breed every year. I'm not sure if the Java sparrows breed with us. So there's two different dog food, specialist dog foods that we use. So the most expensive one that we've got, I think, is from Hills, but they're running something with some charities at the moment where they're trying to give away some of their food. But obviously it's sort of limited amounts that they can give away. So we're hoping that, I can't remember the name of the person who did it, they've managed to get us onto their waiting list, so I'm really thankful for that. Thank you very much. But that is, I think, Hill Science Plan UD, urinary tract food. It's on our wish list, so it's whichever one's on there. Yes, I think Gok is particularly fond of shoelaces as well. I don't wear a Fitbit, no. I should do really, but I don't own one. I don't exercise enough outside of all this to wear a Fitbit. Thank you very much, Caroline. I would say that this is the nicest view of the tropical house from this way, looking down. I've always loved this view. Thank you, Michelle. How old is the pigeon? How old has it got? I would say off the top of my head that he must be around 5 years old or so. But I'm not 100% sure, so I will check that one for you. Thank you, Karen. Appreciate that. I'm glad you're enjoying the tropical house walk. So I'm going to have a look in a minute to see whether the rain has stopped. As there was a bit of a change of plan this morning. We were going to do a park tour, but it's raining too much. Oh, thank you very much, Jess. I appreciate that. Tropical house does need a new house, yes. So here's something that we have got plans for, but as I said a few times, at the moment all of our plans are sort of gone backwards a little bit, and we don't know what sort of time frames are going to be on those, but one day you will see a lovely shiny new tropical house. Thank you very much, Gemma, appreciate that. We haven't got any butterflies at the moment, I'm afraid. So yeah, so Gok is a crowned pigeon. So he's a common crowned pigeon. So the crowned pigeons are the world's biggest pigeons, but the common crowned pigeon is actually, I think, half an inch smaller than the Victoria crowned pigeon. So we can't claim to have the biggest pigeon here. Yes, we did get the toys for the wish list. If it dries up later before I go back home, maybe what I would do is see if the keepers are up for sticking those in the penguin pond. We'll see what the weather does a little bit later on. That'll be a bit of a sort of impromptu little walk around if we do. But we'll see. No quails today. They're truly hiding well. So thank you, Gemma and Sarah. Really appreciate that. Gok is becoming quite a celebrity, yeah. I think we've been talking more about Gok on Twitter than we have most of our other animals for the last few days. He caused quite a stir when it came to the League of Extraordinary Cuteness. Alright, let's see what the weather's doing. Right, so it looks like it's dried up for a bit. It's still spitting a little bit. So what we'll do is I think we'll have just a little wander around the bottom part of the park here, and then I'll call it a day after that. and just because it is still spitting a bit, so I'll be out too long. So at the moment I'm popping in, so Saturdays is my day off, but I'm popping in and do a little bit of volunteering for you guys to keep these streams going every day, just so that we've got keeping you in touch with the park. So it's only a couple of hours, I don't mind. I'll do a couple of hours in the evening as well. Right, so that was our golden pheasant. Crown pigeons are from Australia. I think some of the species are found in sort of Papua New Guinea and that sort of area as well. So an interesting fact about this golden pheasant. So this is what the males look like. So they're that gorgeous golden colour, so as you can see on the picture, and the females are sort of more of a browny colour, just like most pheasants. The females are brown, but this beautiful golden male looking pheasant is actually female. So we used to have a pair when the male passed away, so she's very old now as well. I think she's been here since before we took over the park, so she's probably at least 15 to 20 years old. She changed colour, so she looks like a male, but she is still female, so she does actually still lay infertile eggs. So it's not that she's because some animals, they can change sex, and she's not hermaphrodite or anything like that. She's also she lays infertile eggs, but she just looks like a male. So thank you, Caroline. We got plenty of ducks, thank you. We have so many wild ducks here, it's unbelievable. So what was I going to say? Oh, just for anyone who's worried that I'm travelling for something non-essential, I live just over there. So I'm not coming far. So that, so we've got some galah cockatoos. So I usually work 6 days a week. I start at 8, and then I usually finish, and depending on what time of year it is, sort of around 5:30 to 6:30. And then the keepers, so our keepers work in 2 shifts. So they work from either from 8 till 4:30 or from 9 till 5:30. So that's our kookaburras there. So that's another Australian species. So we've got a lot of Australian birds here. The owner of the park, Tony, he's a big fan of Australian birds, especially the parrots. So there's a Nepal Kali pheasant. There's some more cockatoos. Oh, there's our 2 males, Edwards pheasants that were born here, that hatched out here, for someone who was asking earlier. So yeah, so a lot of people have known Tony a long time, so he's done a lot of work with sort of with pets and things before, taking over the zoo as well. There's our chickens. So yeah, so kookaburras, they are amazing to see in the wild. I've had the joy of seeing them as well. So we haven't got any volunteers here at the moment, but once this is all over, we do usually have volunteers, so we would be looking at bringing volunteers in again. I think when it comes to opening up the park again, we're going to be very busy in terms of getting some little jobs and odd jobs getting done, because obviously at the moment we are having to concentrate, because we've got a slightly smaller team at the moment, on the prioritising jobs. So as you can see, things like sweeping the paths at the moment, that's all not getting done, because we just don't have the staff to do that. So I've just spotted the wolves. I've got some food. They're going away from me. I'm going to walk up to the tigers, and we'll see the bubok out, and then I'm going to say goodbye after that, just because my battery is on 20%. So I have seen on the wish list that someone did buy me a filming rig for my phone, which also has a built-in battery charger. Really appreciate it. I can't sort of explain enough how much I appreciate that. So that's something which I was talking to a few people about. So obviously, when you're doing this, even though it's only a little phone, when you're holding a phone like this for an hour or so, it does become quite uncomfortable. So yeah, I really do appreciate that. What was I going to talk about earlier? Yeah, so I wasn't planning on going to see the meerkat, so that's why I didn't bring them a treat. On one of the next tours, I will bring them some of the big fruit beetle grubs, see if they enjoy those. They're nice and big and juicy. I think they'll love those. What country would I like to visit but haven't yet? I keep saying that we need to visit Africa, anywhere in Africa. I'd like to go to Uganda to see the project that we run over there, or help run, for the chimpanzees. But there's quite a few South American countries I'd still like to see. I've always wanted to go to the Easter Islands, New Zealand. You started me off now. No, we really like going to Asia. We love it over there. I'd like to go back to Australia, maybe do Tasmania. I love travelling. We've always joked about getting Tony a Segway. When I was in America in one of the zoos there, they had security guards with Segways. I think that was Washington National Zoo. And every time I think about it, it makes me laugh. Someone else had a question earlier. What was it? Oh, what happens when an animal passes away? So every animal that passes away has an autopsy done on it, so that we can, even if we think we know what the reason for the death was, if it's a really old animal, that always gets done. And then part of that process is, obviously we do need to also then, I know it doesn't sound very nice, but dispose of the animal. And that is usually done with cremation. So we have got, I think the only animal that I can remember who is currently buried here is actually Momo, no, not Momo, Filippo, the old alpha male from the Barbary macaques, and he's actually buried just on the other side of these aviaries in the bamboo patch there. So there's our bubok owl. So that's Timmy. So visiting those countries, So I have been to a few countries as part of work. So for example, one of my first trips to America was to do work with the chimpanzees that we brought in. And then I've been to a couple of conferences abroad as well, but most of it is travel that we do for leisure. So we just really love traveling, always have done. So meant to be going on a Caribbean cruise later this year, but don't know if that's going to be happening at the moment, so we'll see what happens with that. The tigers. Thank you very much, Sharon. So this is Blade. Oh, that might be Troy. I like to be able to see both of them so I can compare them. Come on, Heather, who have we got here? Yeah. No, I think it's Troy. Oh, the tigers are absolutely stunning, aren't they? Hello, mate. Right. So now that we've seen this handsome chap, I think his brother's in bed. Can't blame him. Oh, he's having a little wash. That's what the rain's for, mate. So the way I tell the difference is that Troy is much more sort of stockier, sort of bigger, and he is also much sort of more orangey colour, whereas Blade is a little bit lighter in colour and he's a little bit more lanky than one of the two. Thank you, Scott. So it depends on the animal. So for example, Troy and Blade, so Tony and Jackie named those. If I remember rightly, one of them was going to call, so whoever chose Blade's name was originally going to call him Stanley, and the other one didn't like their name, so it ended up with Blade. I think it was a good compromise. Hi Annie, they are, but it depends on the circumstances, but also it's a little bit more difficult for us because we generally take them through through a distributor who do all the breakdown and things for us afterwards. But that's where a lot of our meat comes from. Thank you, Larice. Right, I really am going to have to go though, because my battery keeps flashing up on the screen saying I'm about to give up. So once this camera rig comes through, I'll be able to maybe do slightly longer talks. I am going to work tomorrow on getting a new schedule up for next week, so keep an eye out for that. And we're going to have a look to see if we can do a nighttime one as well. So I know a lot of people said that they'd be up for that, so I'm hoping that if I do it, I'll see plenty of you there, because it's probably going to be about 10 o'clock at night, because it's starting to get dark later now. Alright, so thank you very much for joining me. As I said, it was a little bit sort of different to what I had planned, but I think everyone seemed to quite enjoy the bird watching tour around the tropical house anyway, so I'm glad that worked out. There's some more birds to finish off the tour. And yeah, so I'll see you. So tomorrow we've got a reptile house video, so that's pre-recorded, but I'll be available for a little chat. So that's at, I think, 4 o'clock. I've just got to do some more of that editing later on tonight to get that ready for you. But yeah, I'll see you all for that. Thank you very much, Jackie and Paul. And then we'll be live again next week. Have a nice weekend, everyone. Stay safe, and we'll speak to you tomorrow.